We did it well enough to stay in the game, but basically just not quite good enough to win the game.
Second row.
Aaron Beard with the AP. This is for both players. How do you think you guys sort of grinded through the game without Norshad and trying to sort of overcome that being shorthanded like you were?
Isaiah.
I'll say without Norshad, I feel like Ant and AJ, they played a great game. They played their best effort and they gave their best effort to get the rebounds and play hard and effort. And we just came up short, I feel like, but it was a great help from both of them.
Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, losing a starter, any team is gonna hurt. But like Isaiah said, Anthony and AJ really picked it up. Regardless, we have to find a way to come out with this victory. We didn't, all credit to Duke. They shot the ball really well, and we just got to bounce back.
Any other questions?
Honestly, we try to force more turnovers, and they did a good job of handling our pressure. We tried it full court. We tried it when they ran ball screens. We tried it on out of bounds. And, some of what happens in the game of basketball is, players recognize what the heck's going on. Our players did and really pulled together. Their players did as well, and they really found the open man. They had 16 assists and 12 turnovers, so they were still sharing the ball very well. You don't make those kind of threes unless the ball is zipping around and no one's holding on to it too long. And they did a great job of finding the open man. That guy did a great job of hitting the open shot.
We also have media on Zoom. If you have a question, use the raise hand function. We'll get to you. Any other questions here? Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Done.
Yeah.
Thanks for the help this week.
So that wraps up there with Coach. Let me know on the microphone. Do an audio test. Haven't done a live stream in a little bit, the post-game stuff. So before I get going, definitely let me know in the comments below. Just a microphone test here. Make sure it's not echoing. We will go to Duke's press conference, get a chance to hear Coach Shire and their players. Looks like we're good to go. So if you didn't hear the audio for maybe the first minute or so of the press conference with Coach, it was out. I don't think it was working, but I got that thing going if you want to watch it back. But the question was asked about Omier and his status. If you didn't hear on the TV broadcast, they said x-rays were negative in terms of a break, but we'll see how things go moving forward. Difficult game. Miami did hang in there. Anthony Walker, we'll get right into him. He had 6 points, 2 for 7 from the field, missed a 3-pointer, 2 for 3 from the line, 4 rebounds, played 24 minutes. He got the bulk of the work when Omier went down with an injury. Also, AJ Casey got some playing time as well, which was typical. Those two guys had been filling in for Omier, and it only made sense for them to go in there. But Casey, he does make that nice bucket there, but 1 for 4, just the 2 points, played 15 minutes. He was a plus 11 when he was on the floor. The Hurricanes were plus 11, which was good for Casey. Those numbers have not been typically that high for Casey. So that's a good sign. Again, just trying to pick out certain little things as they get ready for the NCAA tournament. Selection show is on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time on CBS. So, we'll see everything with Miami. It's been a great season. Disappointing to see what would have happened in this one. And you never want these kind of things to happen for either team. You want everybody full strength. Same way in the NCAA tournament. You hope everybody's at full strength. Hopefully Omier's going to be okay, and we'll just see how everything goes. I'm very curious to see how it goes because they could have just... We're getting notice here. They're going to go to a press conference, so we'll just wait. Says Jeremy Roach and Derek Whitehead will be in here. for Duke as well as Coach. We'll go for a few minutes, as always. If it seems to be running a little bit long, I know sometimes Miami fans don't necessarily want to hear it.
Well, first of all, I thought there was high of a level as a game that we've played. Miami, they're a really good team. They have a high-powered offense. They're experienced. I thought for us, we actually came out and threw some haymakers at them and gave them a great shot. And for them, they're just so steady. They keep coming at you. And both these guys to my left made some big-time plays, especially the guy, both guys. But for Derek, just to come off in that situation, I thought he had timely baskets for us. The three into the half, the 3 free throws when there was a 1-point game. Even had the steal at the end, which we'll talk about the rest of after the steal. But he got the steal. So anyway, really proud of our team. I think it shows our growth to be in a big time battle like this, where there's not that separation. You weren't going to be able to pull away. And really proud and happy to answer any questions, and these guys too.
First question, front row.
Brett Friedlander, Saturday Road. John, this is for you. And also, if the players could answer it as well. You guys have shot 49% from the floor, better in 5 of your last 7 games. You made 50% from 3-point range today. What has been the biggest factor in that offensive growth over this past few weeks? And, where do you see still growth potential?
Well, I'll be curious to see what these guys say. I think for us, it's the consistency and continuity. I really point to that, but also just making the right plays, just whatever that means. And, I give all of these guys so much credit. They all have professional aspirations. There's, there's a lot at stake. They want to play this game for a long time. And it's easy to think that's going to be impacted by numbers. And for us, I think we've seen the most attention that we've gotten is when we win. And our guys have been all in with that the whole year. They've done a great job. And tonight was no exception to that, especially as of late, like you mentioned, the last couple of weeks. But I'll let you guys answer.
Jeremy?
I just think earlier in the year, we were kind of like letting the ball stick, and it was sticking in one guy's hand. And that's been a big thing this whole season. I mean, he's been telling us all 5 guys got to touch it. I mean, and when all 5 guys are touching it, everybody's got confidence. And when you're making the right play, you're probably gonna make the shot. So I just think making the right play. These last 5-7 games, we've been making the right play, and I think that's why our shooting percentage is like that.
Tariq?
For me, coach hit it on the nose. I feel like the main thing was, just making an extra pass. For the past 5 to 7 games, we've been making an extra pass, and we've really seen a jump in our, shooting percentage from 3. And I feel like that was just the main thing, just making an extra pass and just believing in our guys, and that's been the change right there.
Back left.
Steve Wiseman, Raleigh News and Observer. Jeremy, this is for you. You made the over here.
Oh.
You made the 3-pointer about a minute and a half to go to put you guys up 7. What were you thinking on that play when you got the ball? Did you think about driving? Shot clock was running down, and how did you feel when you saw the ball go through the net?
I felt good. I mean, we got a 7-point lead, but just on that last play, the last 3 I shot, I mean, it felt good. So I was like, I really was trying to get another 3 up because I knew the next one was probably going to go in. I'd stick my follow through and stick to the work, and just have that confidence that I've always had. So,
Front row.
Hey guys, Jim Sumner Sports. The question for the players: you had 8 turnovers in the first half. Second half, Miami pressed at every opportunity. Fresh, athletic defenders cut the turnovers to 4. How are you guys able to figure out how to adjust to that in real time?
I feel like the main thing is we had to settle down. Coming into halftime, coach got on us. He knew we had 8 turnovers at the half, and that was his biggest thing coming into half, making sure we took care of the ball. And in the second half, we did that. We came in, we was poised. We took care of the double teams well in the second half, with Miami being long and athletic, like you said. And like you said, it changed in the second half, and we took care of the ball a lot better.
Far left.
So, John, you've had a stretch of games where they're complete opposites of where you were at the beginning of the season, like the NC State game. You take out NC State. This Miami game, where you were when you went down there. Has this been a focus? Has it been like a rerun it back? We're going to get you now kind of as a build to where you've been, because these games have kind of been a payback, if you will, I guess, for getting these teams back.
Well, one, I think it's always how for our program, it's important to respond. You know, as a competitor, right? I don't care who it is when they beat you. I'm not going to sit up here and say you don't want to beat them that much more, but for us, it's more about advancing in this tournament and winning the next game. And I credit these guys so much with the growth and with the mentality to be able to do that. And for a minute there, you know, we were playing much different, but the way we were turning it over to only have 4 in the second half when they're pressing us the whole time, that just to me showed everything about the development of this group.
Third row in front of me.
Right here, JB Ricks with Spectrum News 1. This question is for you, Coach Shire. It's actually a 2-part question in regards to Derek. Is this the most confident that you have seen him play tonight throughout the entire season? And then the second part of that question is, how good is it to have that type of talent coming off your bench and being able to have that in your rotation as we head into March? Well,
you know what? It's one, I'm so proud of him, but 2, we really have 6 starters with Derek, you know, and especially down the stretch, we were just rotating and keeping fresh bodies with those 6 guys. And, you know, our bench has been a huge thing for us all year. You know, Jacob, Ryan, and those guys, they didn't play as much tonight, but they played key minutes. But for Derek, I don't know if it's hard to understand the injuries when you have those, how difficult that is to overcome. Like, it says a lot about, forget his game. I think if you guys can't see his game and his ability and all that, I mean, that's obvious to me. But what I'm most proud of with him is how he's just battled adversity. You know, he's battled, man. He comes back. He was playing really well, gets her in the Virginia Tech game, and then has to do it all over again. And so for him to have this success against this good of a team, I'm not surprised, but I'm also proud of how he's just stuck with it. And his teammates love him. We love him. And, you know, we got more to do.
4th row.
Bob Holliday, WRL.com. You led 66-61 with a little over 8 minutes left, and then went more than 3 minutes without a field goal. You made the decision to bring Derek back into the game, but you took out Tyrese at a time when Miami was pressing. Was there a debate in your mind weighing the 2, offensive power versus having just one primary ball handler against the press?
You know, to be honest with you, we feel we still have great ball handling. That's the thing with our group, you know, with Jeremy on the floor, Derek, Mark, Flip, and then we had Derek. We have 4 guys that can all handle. You know, Derek can handle, you know, Jeremy can handle. So we did a great job of handling that. And I think we are such a versatile team. You know, we have multiple guys that can, you know, with that lineup, for example, we're defending, you know, really we're very switchable on defense, offensively. You know, I mentioned the ball handling and the passing. So that wasn't an issue for me at all. And, you know, I thought we did a great job handling that in that situation.
In the back.
Trayvon Miles, ABC 11 in Raleigh. Derek, you missed that last game against Miami. A lot of the guys yesterday in the locker room referenced kind of a beatdown that you guys took in Coral Gables. How important was it for you to come in and establish yourself, you know, with you missing that last game?
The main thing for this game was just to come in and, you know, just be aggressive. Before the game, I told you guys earlier, Germ, and, you know, that's him being our captain. He always tell me before every game to come out and be aggressive. And that's what I did this game. And really it was just doing whatever I needed to do to win. So if that was, you know, Garton Miller, who was a phenomenal player on Miami, that's what it was going to take. But really it was just coming out to do whatever the team needed to win.
Left aisle.
Mike Sosna, South Boston News and Record. This is for the players. The first half was a game of runs. You guys go on and run, they'd come back. How much confidence did that give you in the second half when you basically had the lead all the second half, but they kept making runs at you?
I mean, that's been a big focus with us. I mean, pretty much this whole year, but really this last month, that's been a huge focus when guys make runs. We know everybody in the ACC is good, especially Miami, it's a top team in the ACC, but we know they're going to make runs, but we just got to stick together. Sit together and have confidence. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Come together when they're making their runs. Talk to each other. Tell them what we need to be doing, and I mean, keep going from there. But you can't hang your heads if they have a run because they're a good team. So,
to our left,
Josh Graham, WSJS. It's no secret that Greensboro has been a special place to Duke. I think Coach K won 6 times here. You won in 2010, John, and you have a chance to get your first as a coach tomorrow. How special is it, this place, especially when you consider how much blue is in the stands tonight? Well,
Greensboro is a special place. For me, I thought the crowd was incredible. when the chant started, let's go Duke, for me, that was everything to me. I don't know how you guys felt with that, but that's a pretty special feeling. And I'm not really reminiscing right now. I'm really the whole year I've tried to be in the moment. If I start talking about 2009, 2010, these guys are going to start rolling their eyes, and so I'm not going to start that at all. I'm not going to bring that up tonight. Yeah, in 2020, we were here, and obviously that ended. We're not even going to talk about the way that ended. So I'm bringing up stuff nobody wants to hear. But the main thing is that it's a big time opportunity to play in a championship game for the ACC tourney, and we're going to savor it and give it our all tomorrow night.
Take 3 more. I know who you are.
Sam Mostow, the Collegiate Times. How did you adjust when Norchad Omier sprained his ankle in the first few minutes?
Well, one, I hope he's okay. He's a big time player. He's had a great year for them, and that was really unfortunate. You hate to see that happen. But when it happens in the game, though, they have other really good players too. I mean, Walker, he's been there for 4 years, and we know what he's capable of, and he brings a different dimension from his athleticism. And Casey stepped up in a big way, and so there's really you can't let up, and they're a great team. And obviously, you wish he was playing, and you hope he's okay, because they're going to be a team you won't want to see in the tournament. But, for us, it was really just the focus of what we had to do, and defending Wong, defending Miller, defending all these guys.
Front row.
John, Derek has been a consistent rim protector for you all year, but it seems that he's getting more assertive on the offensive end. How much more of a weapon does that give you, and what kind of element does that add to your package?
It adds a lot. I mean, he's as disruptive as any defensive player in the country. I think these guys would second that. On offense, I love seeing his confidence grow. And the thing that these guys have done, they've all developed their individual routines. And so Derek, every day, he's in there with Coach Jefferson, working on his threes, working on his touch shots, his finishing, and it's paid off. It's paid off in a big way. And we need him to continue to be aggressive on that end.
Last question up front.
John, going back to Tuesday in Durham, you were predicting that the large number of close games Duke's played in would pay benefits moving forward. Now that you've seen that prediction come true, just talk a little bit about the ability of a team whose top 6 players are 1 junior and 5 freshmen to close out a close game like this.
Yeah, it's I didn't think of it that way when you say that. These guys are, I love their approach to these games. They have their own film sessions they do. Before the game, we don't even say anything as coaches. They're the ones talking, and Jeremy's running it with the whole team. And you'll see everybody speaking up, everybody that's on the team, not just the guys that are playing, other guys who are, whether it's our walk-ons or anybody, just about the game plan, And I think it's the belief that they instill in each other. It's the ownership they've taken. And, that's what happens. When you're on the floor, I can only do so much. They have to be the ones out there doing it. And this guy to my left has done it. He's grown in a big time way, being our leader. And these 5 freshmen that you mentioned have come along and done, an incredible job in a big time environment tonight.
Okay, thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Both locker rooms remain open.
So the press conferences wrap up there. We'll get into a few things. Definitely see your comments here. We're going to get into that. I'm going to talk about the game a little bit. Things are a little hectic. Miami came out really quickly with their press conference. You heard Coach Steyer there. He said one of the things that stands out to me is just that he hopes Norchad Omier is okay. Certainly a great player for Miami. You never want to see players hurt. As I mentioned earlier, on both sides, you always want everybody healthy as possible. We will see with Omier. I think the big concern is, even if it is an ankle, even if it's a sprained ankle, will he be effective for the NCAA tournament? Miami's going to open up either on Thursday or Friday. They're going to find out when, where, and who they're going to play on Sunday night, 6 p.m. selection show on CBS. So definitely stay tuned for that. Miami falls 85-78, drops to 25-7. It's a loss in the semifinals of the ACC tournament. However, Miami has won 9 of 11 going into the NCAA tournament. That's the way you want to be playing going into it. A lot of positive things for Miami. You want to be playing well, down the stretch, and Miami certainly has been playing well. I thought today there were a few key points in this game, and I want to mention before I get to the key points, just Isaiah Wong, another big game for him. I think that's great to see. 22 points, 8 of 15 from the floor, 2 for 6 from 3, makes all 4 free throws, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Those numbers could be a little bit higher, but certainly a high impact player. 2 steals, dealt with some foul trouble. Definitely drop in the comments below. When he got his 4th foul with 5:12 left, it was a 1-point game. Whitehead going to the line, makes his free throws, but they took out Isaiah at that time. And I know Coach is just in general, he's one of the most conservative coaches in the country in terms of 2-player foul participation in the first half. So when a player gets his 2nd foul, sometimes it's controversial. Do you leave him in the first half, or do you take him out and just wait till halftime? Coach Larranaga has been one of the most conservative coaches in terms of playing guys. So when guys are in foul trouble, it's in his nature to put them on the bench, and that's what they did with Wong. I think it could have went either way. I would have liked to seen Wong down the stretch. It just felt like it could get away from him. So maybe keep Wong in the game if he could get hot, but certainly it's just a tough spot with 5 minutes left. He's just trying to buy a minute or two to get back out there. And Miami did score some points, just not enough there down the stretch. Another guy that played great, Jordan Miller, 17 points, 8 of 13 from the floor, played all 40 minutes, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal. Just another really efficient game. It's great seeing Isaiah and Jordan play as well as they are. Those are positives. Again, you're looking for all the positives right now going to the tournament. The negatives with Omier and his health, and we'll see how things go. We'll see if Anthony Walker and AJ Casey will now be able to regroup now that they know that at the very least, Omier will be limited or potentially limited with being at full capacity if he is able to play in Miami's next game. So the key points in the game, again, Omier goes down 1:06 into it. It's close. Miami gets down 14-7. You heard Coach Shire referencing the Go Duke chants. I've been to Greensboro for the tournament. It's a great atmosphere. It's great for the local schools like North Carolina and Duke, and obviously the other schools as well. And, no surprise. Duke fans were there, and they could hear it. Miami down 14-7. Omier, it doesn't look good. I thought it was interesting. Only a minute or two after the injury on the clock there, and they ruled him out. They didn't say maybe he'll come back. They immediately got him into the locker room. They did say x-rays are negative. In terms of a break, we don't know all the details at this point. Coach Larranaga did address it briefly in his press conference. Audio was a little bit off. I didn't have that set. Again, it went fast. Haven't done streams in a while, so I appreciate your patience here on that and understanding. A lot of people in the chat. It's good to see. Always good to see basketball fans. But Miami's down 14-7, and then they bounce back with this 9-0 run. And I felt like, again, you're taking certain things as positives moving forward. When the NCAA tournament comes up, there's always adversity in it, whether it's foul trouble, whether it's an injury. And because it's a one game off, you've got to make sure you bounce back from any sort of thing that might happen, that the adversity you face, or a deficit, whatever it might be. And I thought just in this small pocket here, Miami went through a whole game with one of their best players out. They also got down early, and they bounced back with the run. And if you remember my interview, if you haven't seen it yet, definitely check that out on the channel with Evan Miyakawa, who runs a great analytics website, said Miami leads the ACC in kill shots, which is a 10-0 run as he defines it. So Miami is never out of a game, and we saw it tonight with that 9-0 run, which was their largest run of the game, but certainly got them back into it at that moment in time. I thought that was pivotal early on because you don't want this game to just go to complete waste. I know a lot of people were doubting if Miami could win the game without Omier, and certainly they did not. But just fighting into it, keeping the battle all the way through, I thought was important, and that they bounced back there. 12 lead changes in the game. Miami did have a brief lead there for a little bit, but again, down the stretch, Duke just made more plays. Duke as a team, 25-8. You heard their press conference. They're still excited about how they're playing. They've won 8 in a row. Again, 2 teams that have a chance to do well in the tournament. I see a comment right here from Joseph about Nigel Pack. Yeah, I think this is going to be good. Very important days moving forward in terms of getting as many people healthy. And Nigel Pack is certainly a guy Tonight he goes 4 for 10, 1 for 6 from 3. You don't see that very often because he had been shooting the ball so well. He's up over 40% on the season, 11 points. But it just never felt like Nigel really got into a good rhythm offensively. And with Omier out, you really need that third scorer. A couple of other guys, Wooga Poplar chipped in 10 points, had 4 assists in 30 minutes. And then Bensley Joseph, it's great seeing his energy off the bench. 10 points, makes 3 of 4. 2 of 3 from 3, makes both free throws, had a couple steals, played 22 minutes off the bench. So certainly he provided something, which was great to see, provide some defense as well. Coach Shire referenced Miami going to the press. I thought that was an interesting thing, and that's something Miami can do, where they can change it up. They want to try to apply some pressure to keep teams off of a rhythm. I think also, too, they're trying to force some sort of turnover because of Duke's advantage inside, as Filipowski and Lively were getting buckets. I think they're always trying to mix things up. We're trying to either force the guards into some turnovers. And, Duke had 12 turnovers. They cut them down in the second half. Looking at the stats here, the second half box score for Duke, just 4 turnovers in the second half. After having 8 in the first half, that was a big point for Duke. And then for Miami, just looking at the splits here in the second half, Isaiah Wong, 14 points in the second half. Just really turned it on there. Played 16 minutes. It just felt like if they could have grabbed a couple more minutes. And it's tough. Again, you're chasing points. You're dealing with foul trouble. It was an uphill battle, but certainly Isaiah has a chance to carry the team. And he did well again tonight. So that's good to see. One of the things I want to look at here, make sure we can see this. If you could take a look at I don't know if it's close in, zoomed in enough on the split box here, but it's the stats off to the right. Gives you a chance to look at both teams. I put those stats in the chat as they were doing the press conference. But some things that stood out to me, the 3-point shooting was pretty equal. Both teams made eight threes. Duke's percentage was obviously better, making half of their shots. Both teams shot pretty well. Duke the 55%. Obviously, from a defensive standpoint, that's a big step for Miami, I believe. You've got to get that number down. Miami's not been great defensively all season long, and they're going to have to figure out a way and make sure, whether it's creating turnovers, and Miami does such a good job of not just creating turnovers, but turning those into fast break points. You did see it tonight. Miami did get out and run a little bit. They had some really good opportunities. They had 13-point fast break points. Duke only had 2. And that's going to be a key moving forward, regardless of the opponent Miami's going to face there in the first round, and then onwards as they look to make a deep run with this team here. One of the things, I wrote this down on a note I want to point out here. I found this to be interesting. So Jordan Miller goes 0 for 2 from the line. And his splits between home free throw percentage, he has 44 of 50. So that's 88% from the line at home. And then on the road or neutral site, so away from home, he has also shot 50 attempts at the free throw line. It's a perfect 50-50 split. But away from home, he's only made 32 of those free throws of the 50. It does feel like he's been missing some free throws. And I looked recently, he had missed some, but he went 8 for 8 against Pittsburgh. But yeah, 64% away from home, 88 at home. He's got to make some free throws. He's certainly more than capable. He's a good shooter. It's just something that I noticed with some splits. I'm watching it. It's just a stat that I found and pulled. So that I found that to be interesting. Looking at the stats here, again, Miami's out rebounded. They have a really good record. I think it was 20-1 going into this game when Miami out rebounds their opponents. They have a 20-1 record. Certainly with Omier not in the game, it made a big difference. Casey plays 15 minutes as a reserve forward, did not have a rebound, and then Anthony Walker goes in and gets the bulk of those minutes. He played 24 minutes, and he only had 4 rebounds. So between the two of them, that was a big difference with those two guys, just not able to get it. And it was a huge challenge because Duke with Lively and Filipowski and They also can bring size in off the bench at the wing spot with Whitehead, which I think made a big difference. I think you saw Isaiah Wong on some 3-point opportunities with fouling Whitehead. I thought that was big, but Whitehead's got big size, more size, and I think he could shoot over him. And I think Isaiah's just trying to close out. He knows Whitehead's a good shooter, but Wong is also not as tall as Whitehead, so he's trying to do anything he can, and he just got in the way on and got called for fouls there. Duke 5 guys in double figures. Miami 5 guys in double figures in scoring. It just felt like as a viewer, I felt like with fans and everybody felt a little robbed of the opportunity to see these 2 hot teams going into it when Omier goes down with the injury. But that's what happens. And I think this is a big learning experience moving forward. And certainly, hopefully, Norchad gets better and is able to play moving forward. I want to wrap this up here. Appreciate everybody joining me, but definitely drop in the comments below, drop in the chat. If there's things I haven't addressed or any questions you guys might have, any comments, definitely do that. I see a lot of people in here. That's great to see. You can always watch it back. Again, audio on the press conference with Miami was off for maybe like a minute or so, but then it got going. You can hear theirs at the beginning. And the way it works is when I replay this back, I'll chapter it off. So if you want to skip ahead, you can watch just that press conference. It's about a couple minutes into it here. Joseph here. Chris, do you think it will impact our seed if Omier has to miss time? No, I don't think so at all. I think Miami's still in that 4 to 6 range. This isn't a Kenyon Martin situation where he was a huge big-time player, and that made a big difference when he went down with injury years ago. I think it'll still stay the same. I can't imagine them dropping because of it. And if so, they're still going to be on the line. I think they're 4 to 6. It looks like. I think 5 has been the consensus for the last week, at least couple weeks that I've been doing the projections. Even more than that, Miami just seems to be on that 5 line. When the NCAA came out with their official top 16 seeds, this mid-season report, essentially they called it. First time they'd done that, the committee had Miami was not in the top 4 seeds. So I think they're right in that, again, 4, 5, 6. I do think, I do want to mention this. All the projections for the last few weeks, regardless of what media outlet is being used and regardless of where they place Miami, they have them playing their first couple round games in Orlando. I find that to be very interesting. I think that's a great draw for Miami. People, I know there was a comment on the live game thread that we had on InsideTheU.com about today. The ACC tournament seems to be always in North Carolina. Why don't they come to Florida? Well, Miami has an opportunity to play NCAA tournament games in the home state. And I think that would be a huge advantage for Miami to be able to do that if that is the draw there on Sunday. ACC championship game tomorrow night. Virginia and Virginia and Clemson are playing right now for the chance to play Duke tomorrow night there. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how many bids the ACC gets as well. Big 12 has certainly been the best conference all year long on a historic rate with their net ratings and everything they've been able to do. We'll see if it translates to the tournament, but certainly Big 12 deserves a lot of respect, and we'll see how many ACC teams get in the tournament. But again, if Miami can get that good draw there in the first, second round, that's what you're looking to do. Get past that first weekend and then kind of regroup. And certainly with Miami, whether Omier plays or not, they've got to figure out a way. And they've got guys that can do it. They've got 3 other guys that are more than capable of scoring a lot of points and leading the way. And you've got Wugel Poplar who gets elevated, and we saw what he can do against Pittsburgh and other games throughout the season. He's got the ability. Again tonight, 10 points, 3 of 7 shooting to go with 4 assists. And he definitely has gotten used to his role, and it just moves him up. He gets more shot opportunities if Omier's not in there. So we'll see. Once again, these other guys, I know the Nigel Pack comment about getting him healthy 100% or as close to 100% as possible would be great to see as well. Yeah, Joseph, Miller did miss all 5 in the tournament. That was certainly rough. So, okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. Okay, thank you for posting. Carson's here. Thank you for posting and for commentary. Thank you, Carson, for being here. Where do they stream your the post-game conferences, by the way? I'm not sure what you mean, but the ACC is handling it. I would have done this all season long if Miami had done these on the road in particular. They did it last year, able to do some Zoom stuff. I like to mix it in as opposed to just providing comments on it. They did it at some neutral site games, but I asked Miami, they weren't going to do it on the road, which was unfortunate because it was a great season for Miami. I was just trying to give you guys as much information from the team as possible. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for joining me on the InsideTheU.com, the Hurricanes live post-game show. Miami falls 85-78 in the ACC Tournament semifinals, dropped to 25-7, but it certainly looks like they've got a lot of positive momentum going into the NCAA tournament, winning 9 of 11 down the stretch. All eyes on Norchad Omier and his health and his availability, but they've got the ACC Player of the Year and Isaiah Wong. They've got more than capable scorers, so we will see how it all works out. Selection show on Sunday. Definitely stay tuned for that. I will have reaction to that to really get some knowledge on the teams that they play, the matchups they might face moving forward. So thank you for joining me. Thanks for being here. Definitely watch it back. Skip ahead if you want to, but hopefully have a good rest of the night.